Welcome back. We are joined by Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Mr. Buttigieg, thank you so much for joining us. We are talking very important issues for right here in Colorado. We're going to get right into it. First, the Biden and Harris administration today announcing a $49 million grant going toward Glenwood Springs. So first, why must the federal government really help rural areas like Glenwood Springs?
Well, when President Biden signed the infrastructure package about 2 years ago now, there was a real focus on making sure it benefits communities of all sizes. And that's why there's a specific fund in there called the Rural Surface Transportation Grants that's about making sure smaller and mid-sized communities have their transportation needs met. A lot of communities came in with applications. One of the winners this year for this round was Glenwood Springs with this $49 million project. It's going to create that much needed South Bridge. It's going to improve safety, evacuation routes, which we know is especially important given the threat of wildfire activity that has been increasing in the region. It really is a compelling project, and it was exactly the kind of thing we had in mind when we pushed so hard to get President Biden's infrastructure bill through 2 years ago.
Absolutely. Now, this is one of 18 projects. Now, how did y'all decide which areas that need improvement and which need help generating economic growth?
It wasn't easy. We, even with this historic level of funding, we had about 10 applications come in for every one that we could say yes to. About $7 billion worth of ideas came in. We had about $650 million to work with this round. So the projects that got picked really are the ones that rose to the top. Part of why this Glenwood Springs project competed so well is that it brings together economic imperatives of improving the transportation resources in a high growth area with the safety imperative of making sure that we build an evacuation route that could really be needed. A lot of the data suggests that you could have a lot of congestion, especially if people needed to move very quickly. And all of this adds up into why it's a really good reason to better connect those neighborhoods east of Airport Road with State Highway 82 there. And so it just added up to one of the projects that stood apart from the rest, and I was happy to approve the funding to come to Glenwood Springs for this. I should say the region has been doing quite well in a lot of programs and projects in competitive applications to our department. We got $16 million headed to Pueblo for improvements they're making. And then we had another set of projects, including Grand Junction, Rifle, and Glenwood Springs, about $24 million that'll help improve transit connections. This is important because, as I saw when I was out there a couple of years ago, the cost of living is extraordinarily high. The way the economy works, you got a lot of people who find it almost unaffordable to take advantage of the jobs that are growing in the tourism economy there. If we can get more of them connected to transit, it means more people can afford to live and work in that fast-growing region.
Absolutely, and you kind of answered my next question. What is the attention for Grand Junction? What does that look like coming from the administration? We're only an hour and a half away from Glenwood Springs, so although we're not that far, we are on the western slope here in Colorado. We're still growing as well.
Well, that's right. And when you see communities in the West that are growing like this, we've got to make sure we have the infrastructure that keeps up. Fast growth is what economists would call a good problem to have, but it still requires you to make the investments that are needed. And, as a country, we haven't invested enough in the last 30, 40 years. It's why the president pushed so hard to get this infrastructure bill through. And it's why we're excited now to be calling these communities with the good news that more funding is headed to places like Colorado.
Absolutely. Well, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, thank you so much for joining me. We look forward to seeing what y'all can do right here on the Western Slope. Thank you.
Thank you. Really excited about this work. Take care.
All right. We'll be right back after this.